Take a break from your busy schedule and join Harold Sala for Guidelines for Living.
There are times when you can help a person the most by not helping that person at all. Sounds contradictory? Let me illustrate. There is a word which is wafted about quite freely: codependency. A good way to understand codependency, says Rich Buhler in his book, New Choices, New Boundaries, is to picture the 26-year-old in a high chair. When we carry responsibility for another person, which that person ought to be carrying personally, we are involved in a smothering, binding, unhealthy relationship with that person, which prevents him or her from carrying the responsibility to deal with life. Let me illustrate. I'm thinking of a letter from a young woman whose parents contribute a large sum of money each month to a son who is in college. The son uses the money not for his studies, but for drugs. Now, the daughter knows that and tried to convince the parents what he was doing, but they refuse to believe he would do that, and they keep on sending the money. Denial only allows the boy to sink deeper into his addiction. Here's another picture. A husband has a real alcohol problem. In the morning, he can't get to work without a drink. Neither can he get through the day without one. He certainly can't sit through an evening meal without several. He's got a problem. It's an addiction to alcohol. His wife, however, denies the seriousness of the situation, and she covers for him. When he's too ill to go to work, she calls in and tells the boss he has a virus. When he's drunk and abuses the children, she says he's under stress from work. Getting the picture? Here's one more. A friend of mine is the pastor of a growing, thriving church. Growing up wasn't always easy for this son of a well-known father whose teaching and preaching has touched a generation for God. Now, when Chuck was a teenager, he had a rather heavy foot. He began to collect speeding tickets like some kids collect CDs. Finally, the day came when his fast driving resulted in his arrest. Now, Chuck expected that his dad would come immediately post bail and get him out of jail. One day passed. The father did not come. 2 days, he was still there. Finally, on the third day, he was released on his own recognizance. His dad had just left him in the cooler, so he would face the consequences of what he had done. It was a very wise father who knew he could help his son the most by not helping at all. What happens when you rush to somebody's aid or you cover for that person thinking you're doing him or her a favor? You prevent their learning the lesson of discipline, which God intends to use to bring somebody to a path of useful service and righteousness. The Bible calls it discipline. Picture a master craftsman with a hammer and chisel as he deftly uses the blows of the hammer on the chisel to carve out a beautiful piece of art. Our lessening the impact of the blow, thinking we are helping, only diverts the blow of life's hammer, which God is using to accomplish His purpose. There is a time and a place to help. We must bear each other's burdens, pray together, cry together, and love each other. But there is also a time when you can help the most by not helping at all. That's tough love. It's a tough decision, but one which is absolutely necessary at times to really, really help someone.
You've just heard Dr. Harold Sala with Guidelines for Living. If you'd like to listen to the program again, download a copy, subscribe to our devotional, or view other resources, visit guidelines.org. We would like to hear from you, too. You can email us at info@guidelines.org. Thanks for listening, and we invite you to join us again for the next edition of Guidelines.